Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. This is layout 2 for the Besties collab with Craft with Tea and myself. You can find all of Craft with Tea links down below. You can find a direct link to her process video for this layout. And here we go. So this is the second layout that we're using, the reflections kit from Alltanew. And as you can see, I am using a white cardstock, and I am using one of the templates from Kiwi Lane, which is Rings 1, to cut out a little groove up in my corner there. Once I cut it out, I realized that it was just a tiny bit too small. So I do go back with a punch that's 1 inch and make it a little larger. I didn't have a 1-inch circle, and I just felt like it was just too tiny. So I did gut my background paper, and I also cut about 1/2 inch off of each side of the white, actually not of each side, of 2 sides of the white cardstock, so that the blue and greenish, I'm not sure what to call this kind of paper would show around and would be kind of like a frame around my paper. So I pretty much stay really true to this sketch, and I really am happy with how it turned out. It was pretty simple to do, and I really wanted to stay in the blues because the picture that I'm using, the matron of honor and the flower girl are wearing a navy blue, and it just, I don't know, I just felt like it really went well together. So I cut an 8x8 square out of the this bubble. It's not really circles because they're not perfectly round circles. So I cut an 8x8 square, and then I went about 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and that is the part of the paper that I gutted out to basically frame that paper. Because if you notice, the circles are on a white background, and I needed something to make that pop from the background. So I just used that piece of paper, and then I cut this square out of that paper that you see there on the right, and it's a 3x4 rectangle. So I inked all my edges with hickory smoke, and that is a distress oxide that I'm using. And basically it really came together pretty quick. I did not have I guess it's like a negative, or the photo frame. I didn't have anything that had that. So I just went into Silhouette and searched in the search for one, and I just cut one out. Roughly, I believe that one's like about 2 inches tall, or maybe a little less than that. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 2 inches tall, and it was about 5 inches long, and I only needed about 2 1/2 of the frames. So I do end up cutting a portion of it off. And that paper, for whatever reason, it fell apart. I was gluing it down, and it just became a hot mess. I also cut a strip using the rings, not the rings, I'm sorry, the strips from the Kiwi Lane templates, and that's the 1/2 inch strip. And I just cut it out, and that's going to serve as my little anchor there on the left hand side of the page. You're going to see me use a bunch of different things, and I finally end up using the camera that you'll see shortly on the left. And I also fussy cut a lot of the circles out of that paper that you see there on the right, to make my circles that you see there in the sketch. I'm also using a Adorn 3A, which is also a Kiwi Lane template, and I think that was more geared towards card makers, but it is the perfect scallop. And I needed, as you can see in the sketch, I needed something scalloped, and it worked perfectly. So at first, you know, I don't know why I do this to myself. I know that the kit is more of a travel based or geared for travel, and so far I've done 2 layouts and neither one of them are anywhere near traveling. So I figured out a way of using some of the stuff that was that came with the kit, some of the stamps, and as well as the stickers and all the other things, all the embellishments that came, and tried to work my way around the, you know, out of the using anything that was travel related. And believe it or not, it was easier than I really thought. So I also end up using a 3/8 of an inch circle punch that is from Recollections, and I also end up using my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile and used one of the hole punchers to make even tinier little circles, kind of like confetti. And as you can see here, I am inking them, and that was probably the hardest part of this layout, getting these little circles inked and then not losing them. But in the end, you know, it all... Just want to take a moment to say thank you if you are here from T's page. I really appreciate you stopping by my YouTube channel, and I really would appreciate if you would subscribe. That does help with algorithms and for other people to find my layout and my process videos. The thumbs up would also be super appreciated. And, you know, there's still 3 more videos that are part of this collab. And I also have some other videos that will be coming up with other people that I have collabs with. There's a YouTube hop that is Show My Space. So you'll get to see my space, and it'll be kind of like a before and after thing, because I'm going to show you in the raw what my craft room disaster looks like. And then it'll probably take me about a month or 2, but when I'm done, I will have a total craft room overhaul. So as you see in the sketch, there's like a rosette, a paper rosette, and I had a little strip of paper that I had left over, and I figured I would do one. And it really isn't that hard. You can use a Martha Stewart, I forgot what they're called. It's a board. Whatever. I can't remember. But you can use that. I don't even know where mine is. So I just winged it, and I just folded my paper back and forth and then adhered it together. Now, it was a struggle because I made my paper too short. And so it kept like trying to separate. In the end, I end up using a couple staples from the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher, and you can't even tell. It looks perfect. I do try to use some wet glue, and I try to use some tape runner, and I even used a binder clip to clip it together to kind of hold it for it to dry, and it just was not working. And the struggle definitely was real. I left it sitting overnight with a couple distress inks on top of it, and even that didn't work. So that's when I realized it was time to use the Tiny Attacher, and called it a day. Right here, I'm adding the little circle with a bunch of adhesive to try to hold it all together. And this is where I actually realize that, I start realizing this is not working. But at the end, again, you'll see it in the close-ups at the end of the video. It did turn out very pretty, and I'm happy that I kept with it and finished it and got it to actually work on my page. So I put this the punch on top of the rosette, and that's how it actually ended up, for the most part, working. I'm going to use these wood veneer butterflies that came in the kit. And I actually moved the one on top a little bit more to the left. That celebrating, I think it says celebrating happy moments. I end up not using it because I end up finding a camera that actually ties in all of the black, and it actually, I just loved how it looked on the page. I'm also using that green like speech bubble, but I will end up putting it over the word love, and that will be where the journaling will end up on my page. So I end up putting all my stickers on top of my distress ink. As you can see, they're at the top left of my screen. And I'm just kind of putting them there as a holding place because I felt like everything needed some anchors. So I started out with this flower that was also in the kit, and it was one of the die cuts. And I end up backing it with scraps of paper from one of the papers that come in the collection. I wanted to tie in a little bit of the yellow because I wanted to use that yellow speech bubble, and there was no other yellow on my page. So that is how I threw in that yellow color by backing the flower. I also obviously use green for the leaves, and I'm using a Nuvo ink pen because I left my favorite art glitter glue in that fine line bottle. I left it uncovered, so you can't do that with that type of glue. The next morning when I went to use it, it was all clogged up, and I've yet to unclog it. So, and although this Nuvo pen works well, it just stays a little tacky, and I don't really like that too much. I like how the art glitter glue completely dries, and once it's dry, like, it's dry. That's it. There's no tackiness. There's no like sticky feeling to it. And I felt like the Nuvo probably works with really good with gilding flakes or that kind of what are they called, the foils and things like that. I think that would probably work really good with that. So I'm going to continue to back this little cut file, and really love these flowers. I can't wait to use the rest of them. I have an idea for layout number 3 that's coming up next Tuesday. So make sure you hit that notification button so you get some notifications when that video is up. I plan on using the rest of those die cut flowers in my page. So that is the paper that I'm using to back my flower. I also used it on that 3x4 little card. I also use it as the paper for my rosette. No, actually I'm lying. I did not use that for the rosette. I actually used the gutted out background paper for the rosette. And that's when I realized that this glue is a little tacky when I was holding it down and it was all stuck in my hand. So I'm going to look through my chipboards because I totally forgot I had a chipboard page. And I'm going to use that little arrow, except at the moment I still don't know where it's going to go. So I'm moving it around, but it ends up on the picture, and love how it turned out. So I'm just going to place it over there on the left, and I had waited for my flower to dry a little bit so I could cut out the excess paper, and that is where this flower is going to go. And I do end up popping it up on some fun foam. It's actually going to go a little lower than that. It's going to be under the black strip on the left. Hindsight 2020, I feel like I maybe should have cut that circle paper probably a little smaller because I did leave a lot of empty space at the top of my picture, but it is what it is. So you just saw me stamp, and I was using StazOn, and I stamped directly on my picture using one of the stamps that came in the kit, and it says "Love This." And then I just off stamped, or second generation stamped, right above it on the white paper. So I'm bringing that picture again. I'm sorry, that the collecting happy moments. And here's where I found the camera, and I really loved how the camera looked there. So that is where the camera will end up, and that's a chipboard piece. And the flower is going to be right below it, and it works out perfectly because I do get to nestle it in, and I love how it turned out. I will be gluing it onto the chipboard, and I do add the fun foam behind the bottom portion of the flower because, the chipboard's a little thick, so it was giving, it wasn't going to be flat. So as I adhere this, I'm going to start creating my clusters, and I do end up having 3 clusters. There's going to be one that's going to be right there where I'm moving my butterfly to, right above the "Love This." And this right hand side of my picture will be the second one, and then on the left of the picture is the third cluster, and it gives you that visual triangle so that your eye focuses in on the picture. So I end up putting a little sticker that came in the kit that says "Smile" up in that right hand corner, because I wanted it all to kind of flow in, like those bubbles were flowing towards the circle. And that is where that little arrow ends up, and it's pointing to our little cutie there, and and the word "Love This" is right above it. So that love this piece that I'm figuring out where to put does not end up there. I did not like it up there, and it will end up living right there. I had already put a heart there, and then I moved the heart, and this little gray not chipboard, it was a cardstock ephemera piece, will end up living right there with the heart right above it, which the heart is a little sticker. I'm going to use some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in both the, let's see what colors these are, teal, and that's what I'm doing right now. And then there's a citron that I will be doing as well, which is like a green color, and it was perfect because it worked really good with the green in the page. And I'm just going to do some fine splatters. And I don't know if you noticed, but left hand corner of the page, I ended up dropping the lid from the teal, and it kind of made a little mess there. But I just added more splatters to it, and you can't even tell that it was a mistake. If you make a mistake, it's best to just make it an intentional mistake, so it doesn't look like a mistake. So, you just got to kind of go with the flow. Things happen. I'm going to add this "Good Times" right below the "Love." And "Love" is going to end up being my title, which that is a acetate piece that came in the kit as well. And now I'm moving on to the buttons. I'm using the "Amazing" next to the "Love." And I also end up using that little heart up on the top right hand side of the page by the "Smile," and a green button which will serve as my lens to the camera. And I was looking at this and I'm like, what am I missing? Well, hello, I never glued down my rosette. So here I am working. And actually, I wanted to give it a little bit more pizzazz, so I added some gold washi tape right above the black line. And then I also end up doing it in two other spots. One below my picture, right above the scallops, and one right above where the Simply Love is. And just two little small pieces. Oh, and one next to the yellow speech bubble. And it's a tiny little piece that I had left over that was stuck on my finger. And this part was a little tricky to do. And I apologize for having my head covering the whole thing. And this is what I felt like we needed the gold. So we're getting really close to the end of this video. Please stick around to the end where you'll see close-ups of my layout, as well as links to other videos that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.